Just wanted to make a fairly brief video on the Morse engine controls. Somebody online had asked some questions about how they come apart, which they're fairly straightforward, but at the same time, seeing how things are put together before you start taking things apart can make it a whole lot easier. So basically what you need is a 5/32 Allen, maybe a Phillips screwdriver, and then just a slotted screwdriver. A couple things to note first is that some of these actually came with a detent kit that would screw onto the side of the housing, and what it does is indicate the shift levers either in forward, neutral, or reverse by detents. This upper screw here is for those detent springs and pins, and then like I said, a plate would attach here to the side of the cover. You'll notice that there is another screw here and here. Both of these are intended for setting the friction on the shift levers. The interesting thing is though that as you tighten one, you are indeed slightly tightening the other one, so there is no way to strictly tighten them independently. The reason why you can't tighten one or loosen one without tightening or loosening the other friction setting is because there's a pin in here that I'm going to show you when I disassemble this. And this screw on this side and this screw on this side, they both push on that center pin that both of these levers ride on. And so as you tighten this side, it is pushing that pin over to the other side, which increases the friction on both levers, not just one lever. All right. So the process of disassembly is first you've got to get the mount for the cables. The shift cables would attach right in here. So first you have to take those loose, and these are 1032 screws. You just go ahead and back these out, and once you've done that, the shift controls, or the plates here that hold the shift cables, can come right off. I'll set those screws aside. All right. Now you can see basically what's going on in here. That pin right here in the middle, that runs all the way through, and again, that's the friction portion. And then the control arms, they rotate on separate hubs for each shift lever. All right, and the process of removing the shift levers and getting at the arms is fairly straightforward. You just go ahead and take your 5/32 Allen, you put it on the screw there, and you just go ahead and back that off. So we're going to unscrew that. We'll just take both of them out. Alright, and you can see this one's already wanting to come apart on its own. So this piece slides out just like that. Our cam, our lever, comes out next. Do the same on the other side. And then we just go ahead and we slide this one out. Alright, that's how the thing comes apart. You'll notice that there are a couple of bushings in here, hopefully not in too bad a shape, so they can be cleaned and maybe lightly greased when you put everything back together. So that's the process, and then this is that pin that rides in between. You can tell it's a little gunky there, and this screw here pushes against the end of the pin, creating friction to hold those shift levers in place. And you'll see that there is a drilled hole here for this cam to fit, and then for the lock screw to lock down right there. So assembly, just the opposite. And then you got to get your cams in place. So we'll go ahead and we'll get that one in, get that one in there. Go ahead and make sure everything lines up, rides on the hub. Get this side in too. Make sure everything rides on the hub. Good. Got both arms back in. Now we need to just tighten these two down. So we will locate them. Just kind of gently apply some force to get it to lock in. It doesn't feel quite right there. Rock it back and forth as you tighten it. There we go. Found it. So there's that one. We'll rock this one back and forth as we tighten it. A little too tight. Probably going to go in right there. Yep. You can see we've got the lever captive. Just go ahead and tighten those up. And I had to apply heat. This was a freshwater boat as well. I had to apply some heat to get these to come loose the first time. Alright, all back together. You can notice here, if you loosen this up, these levers will get rather floppy, easy to move, no resistance at all. Tighten that up a little bit. Here, I'll do them both. Quite a bit more friction right there, probably a little too much. Yep, so friction is basically the same. That's it, easy peasy. These things are not difficult to take apart or reassemble at all. One thing that keep in mind is your shift cables and levers need to positively engage in reverse and forward, and make sure that your gearbox is in neutral. So you probably want to check the gearbox and make sure the control arm is in the right place. If they're detents, like on the Borg Warner Velvet Drive, make sure that the shift lever is lining up with the detents for forward and reverse. If you've got twin stations, flybridge, and then down in the main cabin, you want to work both levers, make sure that they are fully engaging as they're supposed to. Here are the set screws for the forward motion stop. So forward motion stop is adjusted via these two right here, and then your reverse, so forward and reverse, adjusted by those. And you'll see that they make contact down in there. So you can adjust those stops, but you gotta take this cover off to do it. One thing to note is that if you have a bad connection or excessive force required to shift, these will begin to wear. You'll notice there is a hole that's basically original, good tolerance, good clearance. So I was able to flip them end for end and reuse some of them, but this one's out of service because of those two holes. But if I wanted to, I could flip it around, and then this would work for a single station control with the cable coming into just one side, the aft side of it. So that's it. Great controls.